Hello, Keller Williams Park Views and any other Keller Williams agent. I am pleased to show you a demonstration of the compliance roadmap now that Command has been updated and the opportunities have gotten a little bit of a refresh. So we are still traveling the road of our compliance roadmap, where you start by adding a contact into Command, then creating the opportunity and filling in any details in the details section. So right now I am within my contact. I'm using Leslie Knope from my favorite show, Parks and Rec. I'm going to come over to the opportunities and click Create. Now it is imperative that you select the correct opportunity type, as this cannot be changed after the opportunity has been created. So I'm going to say that it's a listing. I'm going to add in the co-seller, which is, as we all know, her lovely husband, Ben Wyatt. Since this is a listing, I can put the name of the property in the opportunity name. That makes it easier for everyone to find when searching. And then as we scroll down, we're going to notice that now the commission rate, commission amount, estimated list price, the buyer budget, that is now all optional. You do still have to select the opportunity phase and stage. And as always, we are going to notice that you can only put this in 3 of the 5 phases: cultivate, appointment, or active. Again, that is because the system does not want you to wait until the deal is under contract or closed to create this opportunity. So I'm going to say that this is an active listing that I have, and I'm going to click on Create. I'm then going to click on the opportunity, and this will bring me here onto the details page. This is where you are going to see the opportunities look a little bit different. There is now a panel that you can collapse on the left-hand side. You're still able to come in here and edit any information. So for example, if I need to change the phase, the stage, I can put in any dates here. That is all possible. Within the panel, this is where you can enter in either the address, a KWLS listing, etc. So I'm just going to put in a dummy address, 123 Main Street. Whoops. Rutherford, New Jersey, 07070. There we go. So now I've just added in my dummy address, and again, any other information you want to add in here, such as the list price, estimated commission rate, we can do that. So let's say that their list price is going to be $899,999, and my commission rate is going to be 2.5%. Now that's calculated my estimated commission. And now that we've added in the details, according to the roadmap, we're going to travel to step 4, which is where we go into the documents section and we select our checklist type. You're going to see it right here in front of you to start work with the opportunity. Please select your checklist type first. All this means is we're coming over towards the left side, clicking on this drop down and selecting the type of deal this is. I'm going to say probably 98 out of 100 times you're going to be choosing just a New Jersey residential property, but the others are there if you need them. Once you click on this checklist option, then you're going to see all of the documents will load for you. So we have broken up the checklists based on the type of transaction you have. So for a listing, you have a section just for all of your just listed paperwork, and then there's a section for all the paperwork when it is under contract, and then the section for all of the closing documents. Now you're going to notice that there is a lovely little DS icon next to all of these documents, and it's also notated what is required, what is optional, anything that's conditional, etc. Now the beautiful thing about this little DS is that this actually stands for DocuSign. So if we go back to the roadmap and we go from step 4 to step 5, this is where we're going to click Start a Transaction, which has now turned into Sync with DocuSign. So this is the button we are now going to click. Be sure that you select your checklist type before you click the Sync with DocuSign button. You cannot undo this, and this is what allows you to, as the roadmap says, ensure you are always using the compliant, up-to-date forms and you're not going to be missing any forms. That's because every document with this DS icon will automatically be loaded into your room. So I'm going to click on the Sync with DocuSign button. This will now open up a new tab for me, and it has created a room. So just like an opportunity, we have a DocuSign room where all the information for one transaction is held. The name of my room is the same as what I have named my opportunity, and because I have added that dummy address, that is synced here as well. Now this is great because if I click on a document to take a look at the information, we're going to see that the property address has already been inputted for us. If we go over to the details in your DocuSign room, again, this is where you can click that edit button and come in and start to fill in more information. So I can say the listing date is going to be November 15th. It's going to expire 1, 2, 3 months, 28th, listing price $899,999. I can put in any other information and hit save. Now the beautiful thing about DocuSign is that any information that's added into the details page will then transfer over into the documents automatically. This also holds true if you are filling in the documents, especially if you start with the contract of sale, the buyer agency agreement, listing agreement, etc. A lot of that information will then filter into the additional documents. Once you have the documents filled out, you can send them for signatures. Now, I'm not a licensed realtor myself, so I unfortunately don't have access to the NJAR documents, so I'm just going to use these two KW documents as an example. After I select them, I'm going to click on this little pencil button to create an envelope. And this is part of step 6, where we have filled out the paperwork and now we're sending them for signatures. When you are sending forms for a listing or a rental on behalf of the landlord, there is a sending order that you must follow, and that is that your clients sign the document first, then you as the agent sign, and then finally the broker receives the document to sign. They must be the last person to sign and view any MLS related forms, as they are going to make sure everything's compliant and you need their signatures and approval to go live. So coming back into DocuSign, the beauty of this is that it has the ability to assign recipient roles. So what I'm going to do is say, I'm sending this to the listing agent, seller 1, and seller 2. Again, this is not the best example because I am limited with my forms, but I hope you get the idea. Once that page loads, we're going to go to step 1 of 2 of sending out the documents for signatures. You are going to see the documents that have been added. If there are any that you missed, you can click on the upload button and click on add room documents. If there are any you need to remove, simply click on that X button. Now here's where we see the recipients and their roles. I am the listing agent and I have my favorite couple, Leslie Knope and Ben Wyatt, as my sellers. It is automatically set in assigning order. I'm actually going to uncheck this just for argument's sake, but this is how you can set that order. So your clients would be signing first. So I'm going to change both of them to have role number 1, and I'm going to change myself to have role number 2. If I'm sending the documents to the broker, she would then be number 3, and it would send as only when the previous roles have completed their signatures. When we go to the next page, this is another area where the DocuSign and Command connection really comes into play. As we scroll down, we see a lot of things have been plugged in, and a lot of these signature fields are placed for us automatically. Each person has a color associated, so the sellers are blue and green, and the agent in this instance is purple. So as I scroll down, I'm going to see, yes, this is where purple, this is the sellers, great. If there is something where a signature field is missing, you can simply select the proper recipient and drag and drop anything that you need. We're then going to click on the send button. Okay, so I have worked my magic and I have just gone in and completed my signatures on the forms so I can show you guys the next part of the roadmap. So once an envelope has been completed, you're going to see it is green and says complete. And then in the documents section, we will find that there are signed copies of those original forms. So the original forms are still available for you to send and edit. And you're also going to find a certification which just validates that all of the signatures you received were legally required and all that fun stuff. Now, when we go back to the roadmap, we're going to see that we are now going to have to attach all of the signed documents into the command opportunity. So I'm going to come here, and we see that this has now changed, and I have the ability to attach files from either DocuSign or my computer. Now, since we have that DocuSign connection, I can simply come down and begin to click on these drop-down boxes. Whoop, I just need to refresh this. So if that ever happens and your documents don't load, just give the page a little bit of a refresh. Now I am able to click on those drop-down boxes, and I'm going to pick the document that matches up with that line item. So this is the no lead paint disclosure. Here's my no lead paint disclosure. My permission to advertise. Here's my permission to advertise. And you notice that once you attach a document, it disappears from that drop-down list. So this will prohibit you from adding the same document twice. You can click on it to make sure that it is the correct one, that everything looks good. If you need to remove it, simply click on these three dots and you can re-upload. Once you have all of the documents uploaded, you're going to click on the Submit to MC button, and then you will see that this checklist has been submitted. Once the compliance coordinator reviews it, they will either give it an approval or reject it if there's anything that needs to be fixed. Now, this is another reason why we strongly encourage you to submit all of your documents as soon as you have them signed. If there is a signature missing or an initial field that's missing or perhaps even an entire form that is missing, we don't want you to wait until the deal has closed in order to get those forms, because there's nothing worse than going back to your seller after they close 2 weeks and saying, "Hey seller, I forgot to have you sign my wire fraud form. Can you sign that for me?" We want to avoid that as much as possible. So please upload and submit your checklists as they become completed. As the deal goes on and you get more paperwork, you'll go to the additional checklists, attach the documents, and submit them to the MC, which stands for Market Center. And that is step 9. Each checklist must be approved in order to get paid. Once you have done that, it is off to step 10, where you're going to submit a commission request in the Offers and Commission tab. So once you have all 3 checklists uploaded, we are going to come over into the Offers and Commission section. This is where I'm going to click on Add New Offer. I'm going to fill in some information. So my property type, it's a residential, it's a resale. Let's say that my buyer is Ron Swanson, sticking with the Parks and Rec theme, and that sale price was $899,999, 2.5%. My contract date, hypothetically, was October 1st, and the closing date was on Monday. Now I'm going to click Create and Accept Offer, but there's an error, and you may see this error popping up. If your property is not listed in the KWLS, or if it is listed but has already been selected for another opportunity. This is a change that has happened recently. It can be a little frustrating, but if you ever run into this issue, the easiest way to go about this is to click on Create New Listing. Because what we are doing is creating a Keller exclusive listing, which is a listing that can only be shared with KW agents who have the same broker of record. A listing agreement is signed, but it's not in the MLS. Essentially what this means is that you're adding a listing, but no one is going to be able to see it to think that it is an available property. And that is because under listing category, we are going to put either sold or rented/leased, depending on the type of property you have. So I'm going to say that this is sold, the property type, residential, single family detached. I can leave this blank. I can fill this in. And again, I can put in that address here. Whoops. And I'm going to put, oh my, New Jersey. There we go. I understand and I agree. Create and select listing. Beautiful. So the Keller exclusive listing has been created. But again, remember, no one is going to see it and think that this property is available if you create it as either a sold or a rented or leased property. Once you do that, we can continue to the Create and Accept Offer button, which is where we can then edit the information. Now again, since I am not a licensed agent, my view is looking a little bit different than yours, but this is where you're going to come in and make sure all of the commission information is correct. You will be able to see your agent payment breakdown. This is also where you can add MLS fees, deduct MLS fees. If you have referrals, you can do that here as well. And once everything is figured out, you just click on that submit button and you will be good to go. So that is the speed racing through our compliance roadmap with the new platform design in Command. I hope that you guys find this video useful, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. But be sure you're following this roadmap to make sure you're always compliant, you're never missing a form, you get the signatures, get sent easier and acquired easier. It's just going to make your life better. So please don't hesitate to reach out with any questions, and I wish you the best of luck on your next transaction.